Hello, grade 2. How are you all? I hope you're fine. Welcome to the fourth session in our math course. Today we're going to talk about the clock or how to tell time. Of course, you've heard before several times around you your mom saying it's almost time to sleep because it's 9 o'clock. Or it's time to wake up for school because it's already 8 o'clock. Or when you are at school and the teacher says we're about to leave because it's 2 o'clock. So it's all about time. So let's know more together how to tell time. First of all, we can tell time in three ways, okay? We can tell time in three ways. We can tell time in words, in which we read the minute hand first. Okay, pay attention to this. We can tell time in words, in which we read the minute hand first. Okay, this is going to be explained in details later on, okay? We can tell time on the analog clock, in which we read the hour hand first. And the third way, we can tell time on the digital clock, in which we also read the hour hand first. So, in reading time on the analog clock and on the digital clock, both we read the hour hand first. But while telling time in words, we read the minute hand first. Pay attention to this because these three notes are very important in telling time, okay? And you're going to notice this later on, okay? Now, let's see together how we can read time on an analog clock. Okay, how we can read time on an analog clock. We are going to go into details in the three ways, but the first way we are going to explain is reading time on an analog clock, okay? As we already said in the previous session, that we know that the small hand tells us the hour and the long hand tells us how much time has passed after an hour, okay? For example, here, there are 5 minutes between each of these big numbers you can see in front of you. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so on. There are 5 minutes between each of these big numbers that you can see on the clock. Okay, so at 1, 5 minutes have passed, okay? At 2, if the minute hand, I'm talking about the minute hand now, okay? If the minute hand is at 2, so 10 minutes have passed. If the minute hand points to 3, so 15 minutes have passed, because we are counting by fives. On the clock, we count by fives in order to know how much how many minutes have passed after the hour, okay? If the long hand points to 4, so how many minutes have passed? 20, very good. Okay, if the long hand points to 5, so 25 minutes have passed. When the long hand points at 6, if you remember that we have mentioned in the last session that when the minute hand moves half around, so that means that half an hour has passed. Okay, half an hour has passed because this is a half round. Okay, so this is half an hour. Okay, when the minute hand points to 7, so 35 minutes, 8, 40 minutes, 9, 45, 10, 50, 11, 55, and when it points at 12, that means that an hour has passed, because if you also remember that we said in the previous session, if the minute hand moves a full round, that means that an hour has passed. 1 hour has passed, okay? I wanted to know a very important note, okay, that each 1 hour has 60 minutes. See here, imagine if the long hand moves a full round and it stops at 12. Now the shorthand also moves to the 1, okay? So that means that 1 hour has passed, and so on. If it also continue moving another full round, so it's going to be the next hour, which is 2 o'clock. If it also moved another full round, so another hour will pass, okay? So each 1 hour has 60 minutes. 60 minutes means that the long hand moves a full round, because when it moves a full round, it means that an hour has passed, okay? Now, as we said also in the beginning of the session, that there are 3 ways to tell time. One of the ways is telling time in words, okay? One of the ways is telling time in words. Now, these are the 2 words, okay, that we use. The word past and the word to. The word past and the word to. Okay, the question is, when do we use the word past and when do we use the word to? Okay, so you have to know that there are 2 words we use in telling time. Okay, if you want to tell time in words, there are 2 words we use. Okay, we use the word past as long as the long hand, okay, which is the minute hand, is pointing from 1 to 6. Okay, we use the word past. Of course, we are going to go over some examples in order to make this much clearer. But for now, I just want you to know the main points, okay? That we use the word past as long as the minute hand points from 1 to 6. Okay?